Hello. So I took a code test for this consultancy agency the other day, and well, basically it was a code test that they then present to their different clients and so forth. And I suppose it was aimed toward the idea that they were presenting was that that gives them something to discuss when presenting a candidate. And I didn't really think that made a lot of sense. It made even less sense when I did the test. So it was a classic, let's write really complicated, difficult code and see if this idiot can figure out what the code does. Well, there was a few basic things mixed in there as well, and I did absolutely horribly. I know I did. I had 45 minutes to write a pair of functions that basically found you had a list of elements and they had a different frequency, and then you needed to figure out, okay, which one is the most frequent one, and these basic computer science things in essence. And I got that part working, but I didn't get there was a few other conditions that were needed to be fulfilled, and I couldn't solve those either. And I'm gonna be honest. This is probably the first time in my life where I don't care. I just don't care anymore, and I was surprised. Why? Because usually I feel a lot of anxiety. I've always felt a lot of anxiety towards doing well on tests and in school and all that stuff, and trying to do my best and really push it. But I think that what has changed is that I've started to have a different way of thinking. I'm gonna tell you that by now it's I've been looking for a new job for a month, and I have talked to a lot of people and done a lot of different code tests and all that stuff. And in essence, the sensation I had was that this is so irrelevant. This test is so pointless. All it's checking is if I'm able to solve a problem in giving a given time frame, and yeah, that will give you a rough understanding of how well I solve these problems, or how well I know all the different quirks and bugs and weirdness of JavaScript. And yeah, some of it is important, some of it is not. I'll give one example was that what happens if you concatenate two empty arrays and a string in JavaScript. And at the time, and I mean, I could have Googled that. This was all online, but I don't want to cheat. So, and I thought, well, maybe it converts it into a string, because I have never seen anyone do that, and there's no, why would they? But anyway, the answer, if you're interested, is that it does nothing. It's going to just print out the string. That I tried it after I did the test, and just to see what it did. And when I talked to these people, I met them in person. I got they presented the guy who founded this consultant agency was a guy who was really passionate about writing code tests. And I got the sense, the way that I think about it, feels to me that this idea of these code tests, it's more about him and his passion about making these tests than it is about providing real value to his customers or to their customers. Because what's going to happen is that they're going to take that test, which I did, I had 45 minutes to do it, look at it and make a decision based on that's one way they could look. If I was a complete junior, it would be absolute, maybe I wouldn't, they wouldn't even consider me. But then they're going to look at my CV and wonder, okay, maybe that's weird. He did really poorly on this test, but he's doing all these other things and he knows all these other stuff, and he's worked for a fairly big company. I mean, I passed the Ticketmaster bar, and this company is it's 7 people working at this company. So if I don't pass their test, but I pass Ticketmaster's test, what does that say? do you see what I'm saying? So, as if you're when you're trust me, and this is it's not unique for this industry, but when you're starting out and you want to be a real programmer, get ready to do a lot of code tests, and trust me, like everybody wants them. I don't think I've ever been in a situation where I didn't have to prove that I know what I'm doing, and I understand that they need to do this, but yeah, just warning you guys that this is going to happen. They're going to test you, so get comfortable. Just get comfortable with that thought. Some of it is going to be like really like programmatic problems, and some of it's going to be how well do you do socially and stuff like that, because like yeah, that's the way that this industry works. So the thought I had was that I think that it meant so little to me because I didn't really if I didn't know that I'm pretty good at what if I didn't have any other things I'd done, or I didn't have any idea how I compare to other people in this industry, I would have felt really bad. But I know that if I had presented that test to some of my colleagues, maybe some of them would have aced it, but most of them would have had the same type of issues that I did, because in my opinion the test was not the greatest. But I'm rambling on. So what I'm trying to communicate to you is that you're going to get tested a lot in this industry and knowing your stuff, and you can either go down the route that you're going to go on to YouTube right now after I've scared you, and you're going to start searching for interview questions, common JavaScript interview question, common JavaScript node, or whatever you want. There's a massive amount of books and all these resources that will help you learn how to solve these silly little computer science problems that some companies still run around thinking that that's going to indicate how well you're going to do as a programmer. And you can go down that route, but trust me, if you get in if you study really hard and then you pass the bar and then you get in, trust me, and if you don't know your stuff, they're going to fire you anyway. You're just going to sit there and feel really stupid and feel a lot of anxiety. And it's actually something that, like, for me, that's the way I think about it. I don't want to study to pass the test. I want to do what I do and do what I love every single day, and have experience and have these things in my spine, so that if I ever have to prove that I know what I'm doing, then I can. I don't want to do this inflated prepping before I go and take a test. If I don't pass the bar and that's the way that they want, then obviously I shouldn't work there. And I would say that I think that's a healthier mindset than, going out and prepping. But as I said, it works two ways. If their test is really poorly designed and you don't get the job, then, do you really want to work there anyway? And if you try to pretend that you're better than you are, then, you're just going to make a fool out of yourself. So, just get comfortable being tested, and don't worry so much about trying to be the best, because nobody passes these, there are a few freaks out there, but most of us are just regular people who love programming.